It's a bonus edition of the Book Club for Kids. Hi, I'm Kitty Felde. Last week, we took a trip to Hawaii to discuss Lei and the Fire Goddess. This week, we talked to the author, Malia Maunakea. Malia, you are currently living in Colorado, not Hawaii. Is it easier to write about a place when you're not actually living there?
Part of the fun of writing middle grade or for the 8 to 12-year-old audience, plus adults and whoever likes being in that mindset, is putting myself back into what it felt like to be that age. And I was only that age in Hawaii. So that's the easiest for me to set the story because I remember all the things I used to do growing up. Now I have 2 kids in Colorado, so I'm definitely familiar with them going through it as well. It just doesn't hold my heart quite as much as what I experienced growing up. So I can definitely see writing something set in Colorado in my future. It's just not what called me to start writing in the first place.
When you go back for a visit, are there things that you notice that make you say, oh, I forgot all about that?
Oh my gosh, everything. So much. And so many things have changed. I mean, I haven't lived on Hawaii Island since I was in 7th grade because I went to Oahu to go to a school there in 7th grade. So much has changed since the mid-90s or early 90s, because yes, I am that old. So I use Google Maps a lot to help me figure out what restaurants are open, what restaurants are still there. Is the ice shave store I used to love still around? Is the movie theater still there? I've used the Google Street View to drive my car from the airport in Hilo down to Volcano to see where the road has been widened, if there's still all the ginger on the side, all those little details about what mile marker I used to turn off to get to certain places. Yeah, internet is amazing. But I love going home, and it's been great for future books. I've gone home on research trips and gone to all of the things and looked at it with a writer's lens now, and it's totally different and wonderful.
And you get to write the trip off on your taxes.
I do. Yes, that's a perk for sure. I was writing trips off before I made any money. I was like, no, this is a business expense. At some point, it will help. Yes.
You also have a backpacking book out. Talk about the difference between writing fiction and nonfiction.
It was something because both of those books sold at the same time within months of each other. So I was juggling deadlines between both very, very extremely different books for at least a year, and doing edits and finishing. I had to write the nonfiction book since you only sell it on proposal. So the good thing was they were so very different, and the nonfiction book was basically like going back and doing homework and a book report. And the other one was my playtime and getting to delve into my imagination, and to a certain extent still had to do research for it, but it was much more fun. I think what I realized in the end, because the Backpacking for Children book was my first idea, because I didn't trust myself to know how to write fiction. I have an engineering degree, and I'm much more logical and analytical, and so something as research focused and based as a how-to book on something that I've done a lot of seemed a lot more attainable and achievable. But it got boring really fast for me, and I don't think I will do one of those again, because I had so much more fun tapping into the imagination side and going back to visit where I grew up in my head in new ways, that's a lot more rewarding for me.
Malia, you self-identify as someone who has ADHD. So how does that affect the writing, both good and bad?
Depends what stage of the writing I am in. It is good up to a point when I have a new shiny story idea, or when I get to come up with creative things to talk about, or when something catches my attention and I can just go down that rabbit hole. But it's really bad when that rabbit hole is not where I need to be spending my time right now, or I have edits are really rough having ADHD because I really want to start focusing on the next shiny idea and not worry about what the interiority of my character is on this certain page. So I would say I really like having ADHD in writing because it also lets me handle all aspects, because I get really into the nitty-gritty of writing my new work in progress. But then I get to switch over to marketing, and that's something shiny and new, and I get to work on how am I going to get more people to hear about my story this week. And then I get to switch over to, I'm going to be talking to kids. What am I going to do to make them excited to hear from me? So every day is not the same thing. When I get sick and tired of a world, I can jump into another one. It's wonderful in that aspect, but getting to finish is really, really hard. Very hard.
Thanks, Malia. We have interviews with dozens of other writers at our website, bookclubforkids.org, on our Writers on Writing page. The website is also where you can find reading tips and QR codes of our episodes that you can use in the library at a book tasting, and not to mention more than 150 full-length episodes of our show. So check it out, bookclubforkids.org. I'm Kitty Felde. Thanks so much for listening.